So my theme time today, and I hope I'm still on camera, and if I'm not, I'm soon going to be. My theme time today is actually going to be a test of your brain as a human being. Okay? And I'm going to reach back into a little bit of retro stuff for you, but I think you're going to recognize what it is I want to show you. Okay? What do you see? Poor Kim's right here. I'm going to say, what do you see? She sees an elderly woman. Okay. Does this look familiar? Have you seen this before? Okay, so it's like an optical illusion, really. Okay. She sees an elderly woman. What was that?
What did he say? Oh, he sees a young woman.
He sees a young woman. Now, if I were to say to you, do you see the old woman? You would have searched for that immediately in your mind. And then after you see the old woman, I would have said, but do you see the young woman? Do you see her now? Okay. Okay. No, you don't? Not yet. It's going to happen. Interesting thing about the human mind. If I let you see it, if I just say, what do you see? You tell me right away, you see that first image. If I suggest there's another one there, it's hard to believe that there's actually two in one, an older woman and a younger. There's her chin and her eyes and her hair, and she's wearing a hat with a feather. Isn't that amazing? They're actually two in one, and they're opposite to each other. They're opposite to each other. Now, if I were to come back next week, and I'm going to spare you that experience, if I were to come back next week and I would show you this, you would see the old woman and you would see the young woman, because what has been seen here cannot be unseen. Okay? That's the way your mind works. Okay. Bear with me. Here we go. Just bring back any memories for anybody. Where's Waldo? Very popular 20, 25 years ago. I think it came out of Britain. But Waldo was this gentleman here, glasses, a toque, red striped shirt, and usually carrying a cane. And when Waldo came out, okay, it was very simple. You had to find Waldo, and all of the other characters and things looked quite different from Waldo. So in a way, it was kind of easy because you knew what you were looking for. Okay? You had that image in front of you. You knew what Waldo looked for, and now you looked for Waldo. And as it became more popular, do you remember what happened? They started making pictures with lots of people that looked like Waldo, but wasn't quite Waldo. Okay, more challenging, right? Okay, so you'd have this huge page or poster, and it'd say, "Where's Waldo?" And they all had red striped shirts. So now your search for Waldo became much more intense. So even though you knew what you were looking for, you had to search very hard to find Waldo. Okay. How are we doing so far? Still with me? So a little later on, some brilliant individual, she's like, I know what you're going to do. Some brilliant individual came up with these. It's like a mosaic, right? With a whole bunch of things in it. And apparently, the purpose of this is for you to stare at it until you actually see an image. Okay? You stare at it until you actually see an image. Okay. Now, one of the first experiences I had with these kinds of mosaics, I think it was at a big museum, and it was like a wall-sized mosaic, and I was like, oh, this should be good, right? So I'm standing in front of it, and there's a little plaque, and the plaque says, "A beautiful spring day." I'm thinking, oh, easy, right? So I'm staring, and I'm staring. Minutes passed. I can't see the spring day. More minutes passed. I'm still standing there. And now I'm getting frustrated because I can't see it. And it should be obvious in my mind, right? I'm thinking I should be seeing a beautiful spring day. Okay? And then somebody came and stood beside me to look at the mosaic. And it seemed like within seconds they went, oh yeah, I see it, and walked away. And I'm like, what? I've been standing here staring at this thing forever, and I cannot see the image. And yet somebody else walked right up and went, oh, there it is. So not to be defeated, I decided what I would do in order to see an image like this was to clear my mind of expectation. See, when I saw a beautiful spring day, instantly in my mind I thought, well, there'd be a nice tree and maybe some lush grass with a few flowers growing out of it. So I was searching for that. I was waiting for that image to come to me, and it never did. And it wasn't until I got it out of my mind, it wasn't until I will, if you will, relaxed my mind, opened it to any possibility, that I finally saw the little baby bunny rabbits in the meadow. Okay? A beautiful spring day. This morning, Transfiguration Sunday. It's a story of the disciples traveling with Jesus up a mountain, and they have an extraordinary experience. And for many reasons, probably, but the ancients believed it was an important story to preserve, to write, to keep, because there was something in that story we were meant to learn. I am going to encourage you, to challenge you, to think about that transfiguration story from the perspective of how that human mind works. Sometimes we see one thing, but if we look a little harder, we see something else, and they're opposites. But what's seen cannot be unseen. Sometimes we have a clear view in our mind exactly what we're looking for, and yet we struggle to find it because it looks very similar to many, many other objects, many, many other things. Sometimes because we have that preconceived image that we should be seeing, we cannot see what's really there until we free our mind, open it, if you will, to endless possibility. I'll let you sit and ruminate on that for a minute.